I think this is what you guys are waiting for. It's Crowned Exalt Chrom, and he is exactly as we expected, I would say. We knew his HP. Legion mapped out his attack. Mid 20s in speed is honestly the estimate I gave yesterday. Legion said possibly even as low as like 21, but at least 21 is what we said, something.
Yep.
So yeah, I expect mid 20s in speed. 34 defense. I really thought it was going to be a slightly higher, but 34 defense for a ranged hero is already really high. But I still thought it was going to be a bit higher just because Chrom is going to use close counter and he has no sustain. So, and that res is basically what we expected as well.
Yeah.
Mid 20s. There's no way he was going to be much higher. But yeah, he was going to be a ranged tank kind of hero. So, what does this total to? And super boons and veins.
I mean, I'll preface by saying I think I kind of screwed up my numbers a bit. I bet I was expecting like 41 HP, 42 attack, 22 speed, 36 defense, and 28 res. That was my expectation.
You
So
shifted
it's
defense and
Yowie
res.
hands Chrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shifted defense and res, and then honestly it went into speed. But yeah, I did think it was gonna be mid 20s in speed. And Yowie hands, yes, those hands are
Reinhardt's
very
been put to shame.
yes, they're very defined and
It's
long.
like he went to Akuma Yugo. As far as Chrom is concerned, he is a 168 BST, blue archer infantry with attack, defense, res, super banes, and speed super boon.
Well, it should have been obvious it would be plus attack, making him. Is he now the strongest archer?
I said attack, super bane.
Oh, super bane. Wait.
Attack, def, res, super bane, speed, super boon.
Oh. Wait, what? I thought it was
Yeah,
the other way around.
Yeah, no. I
Wait, that doesn't make. Are you sure? Double check that. Why would you have
I did.
speed super boon and attack defense res super bane? What? That
because
doesn't
it
make
just
sense.
mathematically works out like that. That said, he does have more attack than literally everybody but Rudolph, so it kind of makes sense that he would go Super Bane instead, because he has more attack than like Keaton, Halloween Hector, Winter Ephraim, and company.
No, it doesn't make sense. You know why? Because this makes it so much harder to get a proper Chrom.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to go minus speed or minus HP reasonably.
It's not in your favor, guys, is what I'm saying. 3 of 5 stats. Yeah. Okay, anyways, yeah, interesting. So what is the BSC total?
168.
168. Fair enough. I didn't think it would push the boundary, so.
Yeah, no, this isn't the time to be doing that.
Okay. Damn. All I have to say is damn, because you guys already know what I'm going to say. Every single time you hit 168 with Archer, I'm just thinking Narm. Every single time.
Just thinking, what?
Narm.
Narm.
Narm is not same here because Narm is going to be much quicker. But I'm just saying, in terms of like BST and Archer, it's
Norn.
I just realized I've been playing way too much Langrisser. Narm is the Archer and Langrisser.
Oh boy.
Your mind, when you're tired, you go to these. It just goes to Archer.
Apparently.
Feasible Archer.
Well, I'll give you a comparison with Norn, I guess.
Sure.
Norn has 1 more HP, 10 less attack, 10 more speed, 3 less defense, and 2 more res.
Makes sense. I mean, it's going to be one's going to have the speed, one's going to have the attack. It's really going to be about that. And then the defense and res, I guess you just shake it up a bit, but
Yeah. I think the more relevant comparison, though, is, as most people would probably expect, Dual Alphons, since they're basically the same archetype.
yeah, and they're both blue, even though one physical, one magical.
Yeah. As far as the two are concerned, Dual Alphons has equal HP, 4 less attack, 9 less speed, 1 more defense, and 5 more res.
See, that's the problem, because I said earlier, even in the trailer viewing, that I would rather take NY Alphonse. And it's even harder now to suggest Chrom, because NY Alphonse just seems to be better. Because
Literally just that 5 res.
that 5 res, and sustain is what I
Okay, and the
value.
sustain, yeah. Stat-wise, it doesn't really work out, but I can see in terms of the sustain.
Now, Chrom's one advantage is the fact that he gets extra movement from... What is it called again?
Why do I keep forgetting it too? Hold on a second here.
Whenever you have a phrase for something, it's harder to remember.
Yeah, like, I can't seem to remember it. And I should.
It's to change fate. Because it's so corny, I can't even remember it. Alright. But, yeah, the difference would be Chrom is physical, and while Alphonse is magical, Chrom has to change fate, and honestly, to change fate versus open the future, I'd rather take open the future. So
you're fair enough to say that. I will say that in terms of the damage output versus like bonfire versus, well, using soul versus it kind of gets mitigated a little bit since Chrom has, let's see, 3 more attack off his weapon, 4 more attack in general, and also drops defense by 1 more than Alphonse buffs attack. Works out to, I believe, 4, 7, 8 more effective attack than Alphonse.
And I do like the fact that he has double effectiveness. Like, in terms of damage, I think Chrom should win, but in terms of sustain, which, by the way...
you can still run Soul instead.
Huh?
Or Noontime. You could run Noontime or Soul Chrom if you're really worried about that.
I know, but it doesn't... If you do that, shouldn't NY Alphonse do more damage then? Because he's getting instant open to futures.
He will do 20 damage off Open the Future, and then Chrom has 8 more attacks, so that evens out to him doing about 12 more damage off the special proc. Though it is only on the special proc.
I know, but he always has it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chrom probably can get more damage off the double.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is, if you go for something like Soul, it really goes into the favor of Alphonse, I would say.
Yeah, if you're going for the pure sustain build, probably.
That's not a good look. Okay, so instead let's look at what actually sets Chrom apart, which is the fact that he has extra movement.
Which, by the way, I should note, his assist skill has the unique asset of being 500 SP.
It's 500 SP. Wait. That puts it in league with what, Grey Waves? Nothing. Grey Waves is 300.
400. He has the highest scoring assist skill, period.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's a reposition.
Wow. You know what? When you break it down like that, there's a lot of value in that, right? He doesn't have to use like blue dual infantry. He's already 168 BST.
Well, he's also a legendary, so he's actually treated like a 175.
Right. He's actually worth more now that he even has this special assist skill as well. It's so in his favor. And here's the thing: whenever you bring like your heroes into arena at the higher levels, you can't have a positional skill. It drags down your overall points. If you have to change fate, I was gonna say open the future. These stupid phrases. To change fate, you actually have a reposition, and not only that, but you can move him back, and then you keep your skill. For purposes of arena, I think Chrom has a lot of value, and for purposes
and
allegiance battles, those are 2 big things for him, because rarely can you afford. Though allegiance battles to a lesser degree, because you're usually.
No, because he's the pair up.
Huh?
He's a pair up, so he actually is a core in allegiance battles.
Right, but in allegiance battles is not as big of a deal because whoever you pair up with, you get 2 pair up heroes, right? You use your own, and then you have 1 hero that automatically becomes a pair up, and then whoever you're with usually brings a hero that has like reposition, unless they're being a dick. But
yeah, though Chrom will score better than most of them just because it scores higher, and you don't. If you give him ether, he's max kit.
Right. But the point I was trying to get across was just that this saves you so much time in like arena. Matches that you could have lost, or matches that needed extra turns, or like slip ups, just having reposition, and the fact that I can reposition and keep your turn, it really would save you there. Okay, so that's really what I see Chrom for. Like, if you really wanted a hero to like, if you're a whale and you wanted an easier time in arena or AB, it's Chrom. I think it's Chrom, but that's it.
Absolutely. Just reposition him, put him out there. Now he has extra attack. He has better enemy phase. Should you happen to have attack def link on your target, that also works out. Or speed def link. It just really helps him overall.
Fun fact, Giant Panda mentions Chrom takes 1,370 SP to finish his base kit. Quick maths.
Thank you for the quick maths.
Okay. If you forgot his kit, it's Rang. How do you say that?
Hold on, it's Rangrither.
Oh my god. Rangrither to change fate, close counter, lull attack defense 3, rouse defense res 3. Overall, it's a pretty solid kit. It's just that it's kind of stuck in a weird position because Chrom with his to change fate skill, you kind of expect him to be like an offensive hero, but he's not meant to be used like that at all.
I mean, he's supposed to one-shot, but he's not going to be used like Lucina, where he's constantly player face killing.
Right. Okay. So let me reword that. He's supposed to one-shot, which means he's going after flyers or armor foes, but everything else, he should be used much more defensively.
I mean, he literally has the second highest effective attack, period. So you could probably get him to the point of one-shots. It's just going to take a little bit.
If you get the perfect scenario where you get plus attack, attack tactic, and then he gets to initiate.
He should be in the 80s at that point.
Wait, close counter might actually be awkward, because if you remove close counter, I can see him one-shotting if he has something like Death Blow 4.
If he has Death Blow 4, then your player phase one-shots should be pretty easy.
Right.
Like, almost nothing will live him at that point.
But that's a huge sacrifice because close counter is a pretty...
Right.
Oh, man. You know what? If we're going to talk about potential builds, I actually think removal of close counter actually makes more sense to me.
You could still keep it. He is tanky enough to run the enemy phase, QR especially.
I know,
but if you're looking to really one-shot off to change fate, then you're going to need Death Blow 4.
Right. Because when I'm looking at it, his defense and res is not that high. He's not like a tanker. He's lacking a sustain special as well.
He drops the foe's attack by 6, so it's like he has 40 defense and 31 res.
Sure, I get that. But going back to the NY Alphonse comparison, thanks to his tome, he also gets extra defense and res as well, which works out to about the same.
40 defense and 35 res.
Yeah, so slightly higher as well, and the sustain as well. So that's why I'm like, if you just go all in for attack, you might have something really unique there.
You could theoretically do sturdy impact even, if you're really thinking about it.
Right, sturdy impact.
That'll actually give him or mirror impact. That gives him some real, like, you'll get the player phase, but you also don't worry about dying at all.
Yeah, because most likely you one-shot them, and if you don't one-shot them, well, you're going to get hit back one time, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I were suggesting a build, if you play Chrom offensively, he can legitimately one-shot, but then you replace close counter with Death Blow 4. If you plan on using Chrom defensively, maybe remove Rouse Defense Res 3, which I think is a bit strange.
It's a bit strange. You could still use it defensively, though.
No, I know, but I think you really need Attack Smoke. If you intend to use
Attack Smoke, if you intend to use him fully defensively. Like, I'm not opposed to keeping Rouse, but if you are, able to get off the player phase shot, yeah, Attack Smoke. Okay,
yeah. But yeah, aside from that, Chrom's in a very awkward position. I'll just be honest, I don't have the best of feelings for Chrom. I can see his value now, definitely. Now that we know his stats, now that we talk about Legion's battles, now that we talk about potentially removing close counter, like, I can see his value, right? A potential one-shotter, a great hero for Legion's battles and arena thanks to his 500 SP to change fate assist skill. So you can always bring that along with you and everything. Like, he has value. It's just like, it's a luxury. I don't really see it as necessary.
I mean, it's hard to see most things. You need one pair up, but it's hard to see most of them as legendary, as necessary.
I think
you're just gonna pick and choose.
I think this is for people who don't have a pair up. I think this is a really ideal hero if you don't have a pair up.
This is a fantastic one. If you need somebody for Legion's battles, Chrom will probably be your guy. Like, so much value.
Before someone tries this, no, don't make him into a speed Alphonse or speed Chrom. Don't.
I will say it's more feasible than some units. 30 speed plus speed, you can get there. It's just gonna take a lot. Like, if
you're right. You said super boon and speed, so you can actually reach.
He does hit 30. Low attack speed with Swift Sparrow 3 pushes him up to 40 speed. You can get there.
This is so wacky, man.
Well, that's what happens when you don't throw out your speed
All right,
completely.
fair enough. All right, any final remarks on him?
I want to see more of him before I fully understand how good he is, because, like with Lucina, I wasn't too sure how Future Vision was going to be in terms of terror. Of course, now we know it's like a complete catch-off guard, but I want to see some more of Chrom before I get my full analysis. But I think
Okay.
he's actually, in some ways, better than I thought.
Okay, I think if you wanted something very similar but offensive, I would still just absolutely go for Lucina. Lucina has less
Legendary.
HP, less defense, less res, but much more offensive potency. She doesn't hit as hard, but she will double, so she should.
Yeah, let me pull her up, just
Yeah.
for the sake. And you could technically, if you can use pair up, use them together.
I think that's a bad idea though. You lose
Use
the.
Future Vision to change fate. So
Wait a
that,
second. You're
yeah.
right. If you pair these two up together, you have a offensive and a defensive blue
and you get to
archer.
use both their skills.
And you got to use both their skills. You can decide to reposition or you can decide to push forward. Wow, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah. It's actually a really neat combination. You can get 3 turns off of them.
Yeah.
I want to see more of them. But as far as Lucina is concerned, she has 5 less HP, 7 less attack, 9 more speed, 9 less defense, and 5 less res.
Makes sense. I mean, that's exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's the
And if
BSC
it's-
difference?
Oh, 150 versus 168. So
Wow.
18 less.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Lucina's old.
Lucina's old. It's hard to remember
That
that
was-
because you still see her everywhere, but
Oh, yeah.
she's
Future
aged
Vision
very
as
well, by the way.
Oh, fantastic, because of Future Vision.
Future
And
Vision.
Thurgan, as far as that's concerned, it's all +4, but only against melee units.
Mhm.
So you gotta count that in as well.
Mhm. In terms of direct comparisons, there are no direct comparisons. One person just asked, how does he compare to Summer Lynn? They're entirely different, but if you want to hear about that.
Completely different. Why don't I bring her up, though, since she's out right now? Summer Lynn has 4 less HP, 9 less attack, 12 more speed, 14 less defense, and 2 more res.
Summer Lynn's actually a pretty good comparison if you think about it, because she's also effective against armor and
Mhm.
flyers.
Yeah, and she also works at the foes at 100%.
Yeah.
Like, archetype speaking, they're almost identical. It's just completely different in terms of how they approach it.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually
That said,
digging.
Lynn has more BSU than Lucina.
Right. But I'm actually digging that Chrom can effectively get kills off of just one shot. But you gotta set it up, and man, that close counter is really like I get it. Here's the thing, when I look at Chrom, I'm expecting him to go up against things with like more merges and more BSD and more stats. In other words, one-shotting is much more harder to do. If he's maxed out with plus attack, sure, but like for most people, that's not tenable or reasonable. So
Right. Out the gate, he has 74 effective attack, including low attack defense, his signature assists buff, and then his bow. So you can go from there.
yeah.
Plus attack is 77.
It reminds me of Kyria, except she's a red mage. But
People were
Curio's
talking
another
a lot
character
about
that
Kyria.
one-shots.
People were talking so much about her. Let me bring her up. Kyria.
Yeah, go
They're
ahead.
in the same archetype. 3 less HP, 1 less attack, 6 less speed, 5 less defense, and 9 more res. 6 less speed too.
I would take Kyria over Chrom.
I can see why. I think Chrom might pull out better in some scenarios, but Kyria is just an outright terror because she's a red mage.
Yeah.
That alone.
Yeah. I mean, the comparison's not fair, but honestly, it's just his only advantage, I would say, is... Oh, God damn it. I can't remember it because it's a stupid phrase. To change fate. But yeah.
I'm still getting used to it too.
Yeah. But yeah, it's all about how much you value to change fate, and personally, my value for that is not that high outside of like Allegiance Battles and Arena. So That's why.
It's one less movement than Future Vision, so it's not exactly as though it's that much less. You can still move 2 spaces, repo, and then move another 2.
Mm-hmm.
So coverage is roughly the same. It's just repo versus swap.
Here's the thing: even one positional change, like one
Oh, it
space, is
definitely
a
has a huge
huge.
impact on such a
Yeah.
small grid. That's why Lucina is going to forever remain the better of the 2 for movement.
Mhm.
That said, when you're an enemy phase unit, sometimes you don't need the extra space if you're keeping the close counter build.
Okay, fair enough. Like, I agree. It just depends on how much you value that kind of role, and personally, I just don't see like the extra need for it. But I can definitely see the arguments, and I can see where he has his value in. But that's how I see it.
I'm gonna try for him, and I'm gonna try using him if I get him, and see how that goes. Because realistically, I think he could actually be really good. I just can't fully predict.
Fireboy just mentioned, compared to Legendary Leaf, the other Legendary pair-up hero, they're both water too, so that's actually an interesting one.
Yeah, so as far as Leaf's concerned, by the way, Leaf used to have the highest attack of archers, and now Chrom has 4 more. Leaf has 1 less HP, 4 less attack, 4 less speed, 5 less defense, and 2 more res.
But don't let the BSC fool you guys, because that's a cav versus infantry, and
it's a cavalry with Gale Force and a dual-faced Brave Bow.
Yep, and the fact that he can't get doubled, it's ridiculous.
Since player.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, that is Chrom. My personal suggestion is think for yourselves, guys. If you can't think of what you're gonna do with him, I would say don't even bother, because if you want an offensive version of him, go Brave Lucina. But you gotta realize what he's for. If you can't, I would not suggest it. If you can, go ahead. But that's how I see it.
He's a good meta. At the very least, armor slaying means a good meta check with how heavy armor meta is in Arena. So you have that value out the gate, but evaluate your needs before you decide if you want them.
And
say wait. What?
I was just gonna say, don't forget 3 Super Banes, so your chances of getting a bad Chrom are pretty goddamn high.
Yeah, they're pretty high. Much like with Rudolph, you gotta play your risks for the reward.
Yep.
That's it. I played those risks and got rewarded, so...
I mean, there's always a chance you'll be fine, but like, it's the numbers aren't with you.
If you get a plus attack minus speed, then that's fine. If you get anything minus speed, that's fine.
Alright, but yeah, that is Chrom.